So that is what is going on. I forgot to offer the prayers in their busyness. Let me offer prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Ashtaprayeshu Avatyesu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastiki Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So we were hearing about how different Yadu dynasty kings, some of them fled to different places, whereas few of them remained to serve Kamsa also. So there is a summary of the first 5 verses. I'm summarizing the initial part of the verses of this chapter, so that way we can focus on some of the key verses of Demigods' prayers to Krishna when he is in the womb of Devaki, like that. So in the 6th to 15th verses, what happens is, by this time, 6 of the children of Devaki were already killed by Kamsa. They were born and killed by Kamsa. Now, so for this, as the 7th child in the womb of Devaki, Balram or Sankarshana or Anantadev, Balram comes into the womb of Devaki. It's described, Balram comes in the womb of Devaki before Krishna comes, so that he can prepare the womb. He can, as a service to Krishna, like that. So that's what happens. And then after Balram takes shelter of womb of Devaki, then Krishna gives order to Yogamaya. So Yogamaya is the internal potency of Krishna. So he gave the order to Yogamaya saying that you transfer Balaram from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Mother Yashoda, who is in Vrindavan. So the transfer he requests her to make. And in fact, so then he also gives another order to her. Another order is, after doing that, I will actually come and take shelter of Mother Devaki's womb. And then now you go into the womb of Yashoda. So that way you'll be born like my sister to Yashoda, like that he describes. So now, so after this order is given, so obviously Yogamaya is given enough potency by Krishna, so that way she can do the service also. So one thing to note is, normally Balram is like Supreme Lord himself. So nobody can move Balram. But because Krishna gave the potency to Yogamaya, that's why Yogamaya was able to move Sankarshan from Devaki's womb to Yashoda's womb. So one of the lessons we can learn from this is, when we get the orders from our spiritual master, or when we follow the instructions given by Krishna in the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimadbhagavatam, the potency is there within the instructions to follow. So sometimes we may think, how can I do this? How can I do this? But if we take shelter of Krishna and our spiritual masters, so we pray to them for their mercy, so we can follow their instruction also. Because the instruction, within the instruction is the potency also, that Prabhupada used to say that. Now, after, actually when Krishna gives the orders to Yogamaya, he also tells her that you'll be worshipped by different names and different places in the world, like that. Durga, Kali, Chandika, so many names he tells, like that. That also is described. So now, though, of course, those features are generally people worship those features of Yogamaya in terms of Mahamaya, the external potency of Krishna. That's all they are worshipping, because they are worshipping for some material desires. But the same Yogamaya transformed for the material world as Mahamaya, serving everyone. Then, after this order is executed, then finally Krishna appears in the womb of Devaki. That is described in from 15th verse onwards, 16th verse onwards. So we'll go to one of the key verses now. One of the key verses is 19th verse. That is describing, I will read the Sanskrit. Sa Devaki Sarva Jagan Nivasa Nivasa Bhuta Nitaram Nareje Bhojendra Gehe Agni Sikheva Ruddha Saraswati Gnana Kaleyata Sati. So, when Krishna was in the womb of Devaki, this verse is describing how she was. Krishna is the cause of all causes, is the foundation of the entire cosmos. But she is arrested in the prison house of Kamsa. That is her position. So she was like a flames of a fire covered by walls of a pot. Like within a pot, if you keep something burning with fire, that is covered, nobody can see. Only within the pot only you can see. Similarly, when Krishna was in the womb of Devaki, she was actually very effulgent, and the effulgence was spread only within the prison house walls only. Like that's the analogy being described by Sukadeva Goswami. Or another analogy is a person who might have knowledge, but is not able to share with the world, not able to distribute to the world for the benefit of human society. So in that situation also, this is like knowledge covered like that. Similarly, Krishna is in the womb of Devaki within the prison house walls of Kamsa, like that. That's how this verse is glorifying. And actually, Prabhupada in the purport talks about the importance of distribution of the knowledge that we are all gaining. So it's important to distribute books, to distribute the knowledge from Bhagavad Gita and srimadbhagavatam to people at large. That's the mission. That's Srila Prabhupada came, Lord Chaitanya came. That's what Prabhupada is talking about in the purport for this verse. So remember, the analogy was knowledge that is not distributed is like that. So the real value is value of knowledge is realized only by distribution, like that. So now let's go in the 21st. Actually, when the Devaki was so effulgent with Krishna in her womb, then everybody could notice that she's special. She's very effulgent. So even Kamsa could understand that. So what did Kamsa do? Kamsa had different thoughts what she should do, like that. So Kamsa, interestingly, Kamsa was given good intelligence somehow. So he was thinking, maybe I should not kill her because she's my sister, first of all. Second of all, she's a woman. And third of all, she's pregnant also with a baby now in the womb. So if I kill her, all my reputation, the fame and opulence that I have, and my lifespan also will diminish. That's so Kamsa got some good intelligence at that time somehow. Remember in the beginning, Kamsa was trying to kill Devaki after their marriage, when Kamsa was driving the chariot of Yashoda, not Yashoda, Vasudeva and Devaki going in the chariot, right? That time was trying to kill when Akashavani told that eighth child of your sister Devaki's son will kill you, like that. That time Vasudeva had to stop him with so many arguments, so many logical reasoning he has to give, saying that finally he convinced him, saying that I'll give the child when he's born, like that. Then he stopped without killing Devaki. But this time nobody had to say anything. Somehow he got the good intelligence to not do it, not kill Devaki this time. So then he also thought that if I kill such a woman in such a situation, I will suffer both in this lifetime and also in the next lifetime by going to hell, like that. So finally, Kamsa decided to wait, but he was always fearful, thinking about Krishna. So when will he be born? I don't know whether I'll be able to kill him or not. He will kill me, like that. He was always fearful. Kamsa was always remembering Krishna, but in fearful consciousness. So that's about, we went up to, actually, Prabhupada describes in the purport of 22nd verse, some interesting point, that if somebody is in bodily concept of life, their destination is already decided. It's like they are going to go to hell only, for sure. Because let us say I'm in bodily concept of life, that I'm thinking I'm body, I'm all in all, my body is all in all that I'm thinking. Then if my consciousness is like that, then what happens is my desires is also related to body. How to make my body happy, how to make sure my body doesn't have any distress, like that. So that is only my thought process. When my desires are like that, so thoughts will follow like that only, follow the desires. And then my actions will follow according to the desires also, desires and thoughts. So then when I'm only taking care of body, then I'm not doing any consciousness elevation is not happening. Because consciousness elevation and spirituality starts with the understanding that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. Then next step is I'm part and parcel of Krishna, I'm servant of Krishna, I need to serve him. That is the next step. But if I'm still stuck in the bodily conception of life, then naturally I will do only sinful activity. So then that will only lead me to hell. That's the point Prabhupada is stressing in the purport here. Now, just in the 26th verse is another key verse. Let us discuss that also. This is the verse that is glorifying actually devotion service. The next two verses are glorifying devotion service and how we can follow acharyas. Next three verses are wonderful. I think, yeah, 26th verse first. Let me see. 26th verse is now actually one thing I want to introduce here. Basically, now so far we heard about how Kamsa was fearful. So far we heard how Krishna was in the womb and Devaki was effulgent. Now the demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Indra, all these demigods wanted to take advantage of Krishna coming to the womb of Devaki. So they wanted to offer their prayers. So they all came and they offered prayers. So the main portion of this chapter is the prayers offered by these demigods. In fact, in the first chapter of this 10th canto, or first chapter of the Krishna book, is described one of the reasons for Krishna's descent was Mother Bhumi in the form of a cow goes to Brahma, saying that all the demonic people are in the planet, so I'm distressed like that. So Brahma takes her to Shirodhishai Vishnu on the milk ocean, shore of the milk ocean, and then they pray. And then that time, Krishna reveals in Brahma's heart that he's going to appear to take care of this, to take care of all the demons, to protect his devotees, and to establish religion, and to demolish or destroy all the demons like that. And then he asked the demigods to take birth in the respective Yadu dynasty, to take part in the pastimes of his, once he appears as Krishna like that. So now they're recollecting that Krishna really has come for us. They're recollecting that, and then they came down to offer prayers. It's a beautiful verse. I'll read the verse. Satyavratam satyaparam trisatyam satyasya yonim nihitam cha satye satyasya satyam ritasatya netram satyatmakam tvam saranam prapanna. So a lot of satya in this verse, talking about truth. So basically, demigods are praying, first of all, that Krishna is truthful. Because Krishna gave the promise earlier in the first chapter saying that, don't worry, I'm going to go down. I'm going to come to the Earth planet and take care of the problem, like that, right? So now he fulfilled his promise. That's why they're glorifying him, saying that is Satya, is Satyavrata. He keeps his vow like that. So, and then they're saying, whatever you decide is perfectly correct. And then he's saying, whatever you decide to do, nobody can stop it also. Because this is the potency of Lord, Ichcha Shakti. When he desires something, nobody can stop it. Like we hear in Damodar Lila also, when Krishna did not want to be bound by Mother Yashoda, she could not bind him. But later on, he became merciful, seeing his mother's endeavor, Mother Yashoda's endeavor to bind him so much. Then, and with her, based on her love, he got conquered by her love, and he gave her mercy. So through that, she could bind him like that. That's the other glorification they're doing. And then they're saying, these are when demigods are also devotees. So when srimadbhagavatam is full of prayers by different devotees. So these devotees' prayers, we can actually understand Krishna's supreme position and Krishna's nature. And then also, what is our relation with Krishna, like that. So many things we can learn. And also, we can learn the aspirations of devotees who are praying in Srimad Bhagavatam, like that. So here, first of all, they're glorifying Krishna's supreme position, first of all. So they're saying Krishna is there in all three phases of time. That means past, present, and future also is there. That is one way they're glorifying. And another way is in the all three phases of creation also is there. That means before this material creation, Krishna exists. During the creation, after the creation is done, when his maintenance is happening, that time also Krishna exists. And after this whole material creation, all the material universes get annihilated. Even then, Krishna exists. So, in fact, this is one of the key verses we heard in the second canto, way before also. Some of the Chatusloki verses also. That's so that first verse of Chatusloki also talks about this. That Krishna is there always. That actually establishes the supremacy of the absolute truth. That he is there before anybody exists, before anything exists like that. So that's how they're glorifying. And then they're also saying, unless one is completely truthful, one cannot achieve your favor like that. So what is that completely truthful? This is not talking about not lying like that. Of course, that is also important. But what he's talking about truthful is the ultimate truth for all of us is we are a spirit soul, we are part and parcel of Krishna, we are servant of Krishna. So we are meant to serve Krishna. So the real way we can be established in truth is by engaging in devotion service to Krishna. When we're doing devotion service to Krishna, then we are in the truthful position. That's the ultimate truth we can be in. So next is, and then they say, you are the active principle, the real truth in all the ingredients of creation. And therefore, you are known as the Antaryami or the inner force. So, and you are equal to everyone, and your instructions apply for everyone, for all time also. So, kindly give us protection like that they're praying. So, this Krishna is equal to everyone is glorified in scriptures in several places. How is he equal to everyone? That's also wonderfully described, especially in the beginning of 6th canto. I think it's first chapter. The title itself is talking about how Krishna is equal to everyone. So the principle is that as a super soul, Krishna is in every living being. So as a super soul, he's neutral, is seeing the desires of everyone and is sanctioning the desires of everyone according to how much they deserve. So that is one aspect. How is equal to everyone as a super soul. That means based on whatever I did in past karma and based on my desires, he will sanction whatever he deserves like that. That he will do for everyone. No partiality like that. That's one aspect of equality. Second aspect of equality is giving the opportunity to engage in devotional service to everyone. He's telling through his scriptures, he's telling through sadhus, he's telling through gurus that you engage in devotional service, I'll take care of you. So it's like equal opportunity employer. He's giving equal opportunity to everybody. So they can come into devotional service. Now, with the equal opportunity, somebody can decide, I want to serve Krishna. Someone may decide, I don't want to serve Krishna. So if somebody decides, I want to serve Krishna, I want to engage in my relationship with Krishna, then Krishna takes care of them personally. And Krishna shows special favor to those devotees. So, and whereas somebody who says, I don't want Krishna, I want Krishna to be my enemy. Like, for example, Prabhupada gives a common example of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj saw Krishna as his master. He wanted to serve him. So, like a master, he protected Prahlad Maharaj. Whereas Hiranyakashipu said, I don't want you. I want you to be my enemy. So, Krishna reciprocated accordingly to be his enemy. So, he gave equal opportunity to both Hiranyakashipu and Prahlada to engage in devotion service. But if somebody takes a step to take devotion service, then Krishna does a special favor for them. That's so he is simultaneously equal to everyone and also favorable to his devotees also at the same time. Because he's giving equal opportunity of devotion service to everyone. So now in the second scenario, we described how Krishna is reciprocating according to our mood, our desire like that, right? Actually, Krishna is more merciful than that. So some enemies are saying that I don't want you, but still Krishna is merciful even to those enemies also, even those demons also. Because in the scriptures, we always see when Krishna kills a demon, it actually benefits the demon. They all get liberation. The least liberation they get is the Sahajya Mukti. But only Krishna, unlike even Rama or other avatars of Supreme Lord Krishna, when Krishna kills, they get beyond Sahajya Mukti, beyond merging in Brahman. That means, for example, Shishupal, Agasura, they are described to get Sarupya Mukti. Sarupya Mukti means same form of the Lord, like that. We all know there are 5 kinds of liberation. Vaishnavas only aspire for 4 kinds of liberation. The first one, Sahajya Mukti, they don't want because there is no service in that. That is merging in the Brahman. So other muktis are Sarupya Mukti. That means same form of the Lord. Then second thing is Salokya Mukti. That means in the same planet of the Lord. Then third one is Samipya Mukti. That means very close to the Lord, like that, near the Lord, like that, on the same planet. Not only on the same planet, but also near the Lord, like that. And then fourth one is called Sarishta Murti. That means same opulence as the Lord, like that. So these are 4 kinds of liberations also. So when Krishna kills a demon, they can achieve these 4 kinds of liberation also. Whereas when some other incarnation of Krishna kills a demon, even Narayana, they only get Sahajya Mukti. That's another distinction our acharyas make also. So they're asking for protection from Krishna now in this verse. Now, we'll proceed to the next key verse, that is 30th verse. I'm in the 10th canto, 2nd chapter, 30th verse. So 30th verse is a wonderful, beautiful verse. 3 verses are in a row, and they're very beautiful. Let me read the verse. It says, Tvayi ambujaksha kila satvadhamni samadhinavesita chetasaike tvatpadapotena mahatkritena kurvanti govatsa padam bhavabdhim govatsa padam. So that is calf's footprint. We'll discuss that. So they're glorifying, the demigods are glorifying Lord Krishna's devotional service through this verse. We know from Prahlad Maharaj that the devotional service has so many 9 processes of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Palsevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, like that, right? So here they're glorifying some of those processes of devotional service. What is it saying? By concentrating one's meditation on your lotus feet. So lotus feet is the focus in this verse. Then by accepting those lotus feet as the boat by which to cross the ocean of nishyans. This material world is considered like an ocean of nishyans, like ocean of troubles, ocean of distress, like that. So then one follows in the footsteps of Mahajanas. Mahajanas means great saints, sages, and great devotees, great acharyas, like that. So by this simple process, one can cross this material world as one steps over the hoof print of a calf. So first of all, in this verse, the whole material world is compared to a big ocean of all kinds of distress. Now, and the lotus feet of Krishna are compared to a boat that helps us to cross this material ocean, material world. So now, not only that lotus feet of Krishna, if you meditate on them, if you serve them, not only they're helping us to cross over the material ocean, big ocean, but those lotus feet also helps in making the big ocean to a small puddle that is in the, let us say there's a calf, that is a baby calf, that is baby of a cow, right? When the calf is going, well, let us say when it's freshly rained and calf is walking on the road, it will make footprints. So that will make a small puddle, small footprint puddle. That footprint, the whole big material ocean can become like the small footprint. Like that, they're glorifying this verse. That's the glory of the Krishna's lotus feet. So when we talk about meditating on lotus feet of Krishna, in Nectar of Instruction, Krishna Prabhupada describes that that is the best way of engaging our mind, like that. So acharyas describe worshipping the lotus feet of Krishna, meditating the lotus feet of Krishna, serving the lotus feet of Krishna means 2 primary things. One is literally being absorbed in the meditation of lotus feet, the deity form of the Lord. That is one meaning. Second meaning is, so to serve the instructions of the Lord. Like when we serve the instructions of the Supreme Lord, that's like serving his lotus feet also. So that's the second way we can serve the lotus feet of Lord, like that. So here, the purport, Prabhupada elaborates on the point that we need to follow the devotees of the Lord. That means when we need to follow the instructions and given by previous acharyas, the example set by previous acharyas. So that way we can progress in devotion service in the path that they set for us. Actually, next verse elaborates on that point. So we'll go to the next verse. Text 31. This is describing my dear Lord, you're always ready to fulfill the desire of your devotee. And therefore, you are known as Vancha Kalpataru, desire tree. That's how they're glorifying. Next, they're saying, when the acharyas completely take shelter under your lotus feet in order to cross the ocean of nishchayans, they leave behind on earth the method by which they cross. And because you're very merciful to your other devotees, you accept this method to help them. So, acharyas understood the method to go back to Krishna by the mercy of Krishna, by the Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So, and with that method, they went away to Krishna Loka. But that method, even though this is an interesting example, they crossed the material ocean with a boat. Generally, when we cross a river with a boat also goes with us and stays at the other shore. But in this case, the acharyas crossed the material ocean with a boat, but they still left the boat on this side of the shore, this side of the ocean. So how is that understood? This boat is compared to the method, the instructions that they gave. They followed to go back to Godhead. And they also left those instructions for us. So when we follow those instructions, we're taking the same boat to go back to Krishna like that. So, and how is that happening? When we follow the instructions, how is that successful? Because of two components described in this verse. One is Krishna is merciful to devotees. He wants us, all of us, to go back to him. So he helps us. When we follow the path of devotees, he helps us. Second thing is, when the acharyas bless us, saying that if you do this, you'll go back to Godhead, then Krishna wants to make sure his devotees' words are true. So that's why Krishna gives special mercy so that we can go back to him like that. So now, in the purport, Prabhupada describes that means we need to follow the instructions of our acharyas like Srila Prabhupada. Some of the key instructions Prabhupada highlights in the purport are that chanting of the holy name regularly, constantly, as much as we can, and then engaging in some form of devotion service, and then also following the 4 regulated principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. Prabhupada actually in the purport also talks about chanting 16 rounds every day like that. So these are instructions by given acharyas. So when we follow them, we also go back to Krishna. So that's what we are hearing from this glorification by the demigods to Krishna. Now, next verse, 32nd verse in 2nd chapter. This verse I'll read the verse sloka. Ye anya aravindaksha vimukta maninas tvayi asta bhavad avisuddha buddhayaha aruhya krichrena parampadam tataha patanti adonatra yusmat angrayaha. So now, so far we heard how the great devotees, they went back to Godhead, and then they gave the method to us to follow, instructions for us to follow. This verse is giving the contrast, how jnanis, those who are the path of the jnana, they do so many austerities. So they may be doing so many penances to achieve the highest position based on their own strength. But and they may also think that I'm liberated like that. But their intelligence is impure, they're saying here. The demigods are praying. And they fall down from their position of imagined superiority also, because they have no regard for the lotus feet of Krishna. So they may think that they're liberated, but that's not a permanent position. Remember, our permanent position, our true position is to be not just go to the spiritual world, not just to go to Brahman, but to actually engage in the service of Krishna. That's why while we are here, we're practicing to develop the service mode, each of us. So when we go back to spiritual world, we want to be serving. So the real liberation that devotees want is called vimukti, like is described in this verse, which is to serve the Supreme Lord personally, not just becoming free from the miseries of this world, not just that aspect. So that's how he is describing. So that means if you just follow Gnana, we're not getting real liberation. So, but if we follow Bhakti, we'll get the real liberation of being engaged in service of Krishna, like that. So now, yeah. So now that going back to Supreme Lord and serving Him is easily possible when we engage in the service, deity form of the Lord, engage in service of the deity form of the Lord. When we accept the deity form of the Lord as a real Krishna, Krishna is there in the deity form personally. When we accept like that, and when we serve Him, then our path going back to Godhead is easier. Otherwise, if the Jnanis, they don't accept the form of the Lord. So that means their path becomes very difficult. And also scriptures talk about how bhakti is easy and simple. We don't find it so easy. Bhakti is also difficult. But it is easy relative to Gnana, relative to karma paths. Because in bhakti path, one of the best thing is Krishna is helping us. We're not just going to Godhead based on our own strength. Krishna is so loving. Krishna is so merciful. Krishna actually wants us to go back to Him. That's why He's giving us a hand. He helps us in each step. He tells us what is the next step, how to proceed on the next step. He gives us association of devotees. He gives us instructions. He gives us a shastra. And He gives us the commentaries from acharyas like Prabhupada. So we can benefit from all of them to go back to Him like that. So now, that is the 32 verse. Let's go to the one last verse we can discuss. And then we can pause. We'll go to the 37th verse. There are so many beautiful verses. I chose few of them so that we can complete in the allotted time. So now this is a very nice verse. This is a nice conclusion verse because it's describing what devotees do and how it makes them successful. It's saying, while engaged in various activities, devotees also engage in various activities. Devotees whose minds are always completely absorbed at your lotus feet and who constantly hear, chant, contemplate, and cause others to remember your transcendental names and forms are always on the transcendental platform. And thus they can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they're saying, why devotees can understand Krishna? Because they're doing these few things. One is, while whatever activities we are doing, we should still engage our mind in thinking about Krishna. Like day before yesterday, Adokshri was describing how Mother Yashoda, even when she was churning butter, that time she was thinking about Krishna, engaging her mind in Krishna service. She was glorifying Krishna with poems. Like that, when we're doing any services, whether it's direct devotion service or even doing our office work or taking care of our family, we can engage our mind in serving Krishna. Because when we see them family, office work in connection to Krishna service, then we can remember Krishna in that situation also. And when we do, Prabhupada used to say, when we do the sadhana in the morning nicely, then throughout the day, that consciousness will come of remembering Krishna. Otherwise, if you don't do sadhana properly in the morning, then our day goes, we don't know how day went like that. So that is the one key of how to always remember Krishna in our mind, engage our mind in Krishna's lotus feet. That is one aspect. Second aspect is the Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Vishnu Smaranam. Shravanam, hearing. They're always engaged in hearing. Whenever they get an opportunity, we devotees are meant to hear. Because the more we hear, the more we can absorb our mind in Krishna. And the more our thoughts, our desires, and aspirations will get transformed with the pure sound vibration we hear. If we hear some mundane sound vibration, we'll get desires related to mode of passion, mode of ignorance. But when we're hearing Krishna Katha, then our desires, aspirations will become related to Krishna. And not only that, just Krishna Katha is purifying it itself, just by hearing. And then chanting also. So here, chanting is both the holy name and Krishna Katha, describing about Krishna, like that, both of them. And then contemplating, thinking about whatever we hear, we think about it, we contemplate, what is the meaning of this? How can I apply this in my life? Like that, we contemplate. So now, not only they're doing their own sadhana by doing this Ravana, Kirtana, and Vishnu Smarana, that means hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna, but they're also engaging others to remember Krishna's names and Krishna's forms. How can we engage others in remembering Krishna's names and forms? By telling them about glories of chanting, by telling them about Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by reminding them about chanting, by encouraging them to chant regularly, by encouraging them to improve chanting more and more, by encouraging them to increase chanting more and more, or other perspectives, by helping others to remember the transcendental form of Lord, right? That means we help in the deity worship. Whether if we are qualified, we directly worship the deities. So we make the deity worship so beautiful. Like for example, we dress the deities so beautiful that anyone who takes darshan, they cannot take their mind off Krishna. They cannot take mind of the Supreme Lord. So the deities are, that's why iskcon or devotees worship so nicely. So anybody who takes darshan, they're mesmerized. So then they remember Krishna. That's one great service we can do. So another way is, in fact, the deity worship in the temple is one of the most important service, because when we do deity worship in the temple, it's not only that Pujari who's getting benefited, whole temple congregation comes to the temple. They all benefited. So that's why Prabhupada always emphasized the purity to be maintained deity worship on the altar, like that. So that is everyone is contributing. Everyone needs to contribute something towards deity worship, whether doing some service, assisting the pujaris, or giving some Lakshmi to help to run the pujari services, whatever way we can help, like that, or helping in cleaning, whatever we can do, like that. So that's another way we're helping others to remember the form of the Lord. So like this. So in fact, Advaita Prabhu every day sends the Diji Darshan pictures to so many people. There, other day when Advaita Prabhu left to some out of station somewhere, so somebody was calling me, asking me, texting me. So we're not getting DT pictures. So then Nilamada Prabhu kindly sent the DT pictures. So there are people, we may think that nobody is watching, but there are people who are eagerly waiting for darshan of DTs. So that's a wonderful service Advaita Prabhu is doing. That is one way of engaging and others to remember the form of the Lord, like that. There's so many practical ways we can engage anybody in deity worship, like that. And we see somebody new, so we can ask them, are you getting communications of the temple? Are you in our temple WhatsApp group? Oh, you're not? Let me help you get you to the temple WhatsApp group. We can take their number and get them into temple WhatsApp group. They'll get darshan. That's one way we can engage in somebody to remember the deity form of the Lord, like that. So we are hearing in this verse that if we not only do our sadhana, but help others to remember the names of the Lord or the form of the Lord, then we can understand Krishna. What does it mean to understand Krishna? Understanding Krishna means it's a big thing, because Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam, there's a verse in Bhagavad also. When we understand the birth of the Lord and when we understand the activities of the Lord, then we can go back to the Lord. That's the beauty of the understanding. What does this understanding means? Oh, it's not like parrot repeating. Oh, I know Krishna is the Supreme Lord. I'm part and parcel of him. I'm servant of Krishna. It's not just parroting. It means when I understand Krishna is the Supreme Lord, when I understand I am his servant, when I'm clear about that position, the understanding should culminate in realization and action, practical action. That means my life should reflect that I'm a spirit soul. My life should reflect that like I'm a servant of Krishna. My life should reflect that Krishna is the real enjoyer. I need to serve him. I need to please him. So like that, when we all are practicing devotees, we're all cultivating step by step. How can I change this portion of my life? How can I remember Krishna? How can I do this portion of life to please Krishna? How can I change this portion of life to please Krishna? Like that, we're contemplating. We're looking at our life and practicing slowly to purify our different actions and doing everything for Krishna's service, like that. So that is the real understanding of Krishna. Because when we understand who is Krishna and our position, then we engage in devotion service, practical devotion service to please him. So that is what is describing. So that is the benefit of ourselves doing sadhana and helping others to remember Lord's name, Lord's form, like that. That way we can understand Krishna and we can get the favor of Krishna, we get mercy of Krishna. So we can go back to him in his pure devotion service. So, and like as mentioned, we're not like jnanis. Only by our strength we can go back to Krishna. We get the mercy of Krishna. That's how we can reach Krishna. It's not like vending machine. I put $1, I get a Coke can. Not like that. The devotion service is not mechanical. With Krishna's mercy, we can even practicing devotion service, we can do with Krishna's mercy. And then success of that also comes with Krishna's mercy. So that is the beauty of bhakti process. So I'll pause there. I don't know if anybody has comments here or also on the phone. Please let me know. We can discuss anything if you like. Yes, Madhu.
How do you feel, what is an appropriate way to explain what you just said to someone who has no understanding of this? In a way, like some of my friends who are also yoga teachers, they're also engaging in sadhana, but it's very dry because they don't understand their position relative to the Lord.
Yes.
So.
Wonderful question and practical question also. When we are sharing Krishna consciousness to others, it's an art and a science also. So mainly we need to understand what they are willing to accept right now. What are their needs? Actually, when Anantam Prabhu gives a communication class, he does a communication course for lots of leaders, and we can also take it. He talks about needs, interests, and concerns. So each of us we are interacting with, they have some needs, they have some interests, they have some concerns. Unfortunately, Krishna cannot intersect with any of their needs, any of their interests, any of their concerns right now. So that is why we cannot, even if you say directly the whole statement, whole understanding, they will not understand really, or they cannot accept it, or they cannot act on it. So that is why what we do is, when we are sharing Krishna consciousness with others, we give them some bhakti sukruti. The way to give bhakti sukruti is they're engaging in devotion service unknowingly also. That means we give them some prasadam from the temple, for example, or when we worship, offer something to Lord at home, we can give some prasadam to others. They don't know that it's prasadam. They're eating some nice stuff. Let me eat. Then they're getting some sukruti, bhakti sukruti. Similarly, when we play kirtan, they hear kirtan. So then they're hearing the holy names of the Lord. They're getting sukruti. Whether they know it or not, it's acting on them. So that is like that bhakti sukruti we try to give. Like we give them a book. Oh, this is a nice book. This is Damodar month is very special. This Krishna book has 90 stories. You can read one story. Every story is only 5-6 pages long. So you can read every day one page before going to bed. It's nice pastimes. Like that, we can give a small book like that to them. Or if it's yoga teachers, for example, we can give them chant and be happy, or some other yoga book like that. So I know you are master of yoga. You're teaching yoga. So this is a nice addition to you. This gives you bhakti yoga aspect also. You can go through it like that. We can give them. So like that, we give them sukriti. That's one thing we could do. Second thing we can do is slowly, based on where they are, we can generally spiritual knowledge starts with who we are as a spirit soul. So that is one more option we give. Basically, understanding of that we try to make sure they are at that level understanding. Then goes to our relationship with the Lord like that. And then some of the teachers, some of the acharyas, the way they preach is they don't say Krishna also. They say the supreme, the higher power. That's okay, because that is what they can accept at that time. But at least they're accepting higher power. Some people don't even want to accept higher power. So we teach them like that also. So that way they can slowly align to the understandings, basic understandings. For example, one other opportunity is we give them opportunity to come to great festivals. Like Govardhan Puja festival is coming. Who doesn't love sweets? It's a whole hill of sweets. If you tell them we're going to sing and dance for a long time, and then everybody is going to bring varieties of sweets, and it will be like put like a hill, and everybody will enjoy the feast after that. Everybody would come. You can even tell them program starts at so and so time. Most of the people come at the end because they want to just enjoy the feast. That's still okay. They're getting mercy still. So like that. If they're not able to come, let us say they commit that they will come, but they're not able to come. Then we give them one sweet to them next day. Then they will feel, oh, they really care about me. That's one thing they're coming. So then also they're getting Sukruti just by eating prasadam. They're getting purified. What happens with the Sukruti is, actually I have my own realization also in my life, and everybody has it. So when the Sukruti balance grows up like this, one action each of us do. Let us say you give a sweet to the devotee, that person, and I give a book to them, and Prabhu tells them a Kirtan program. So all of us are making deposits in their life, in their spiritual bank balance. Then when Mataji goes to talk to them about Krishna, like you said, right? When she talks to Krishna, but when the Sukruti balance is enough, then they will listen to Mataji. And they will understand also. Then they will act also. So like that, what we are doing is that Sukruti balance we are growing. In each of us we are interacting with. By being nice to them, by being a nice example also, we are giving Sukruti to them. Because when they appreciate you as a devotee, because you're representing Krishna, then they're getting Sukruti just by that also. So like that, when we're in the workplace also, we conduct ourselves in such a way that they appreciate us. When they appreciate us, Krishna will give them mercy. So like that, even though we may not be pure devotees yet, but still in whatever way we are there, we are engaged in service of Krishna to our capacity. Still Krishna gives them mercy like that. So basically, essence to summarize, we try to give Sukruti, Bhakti Sukruti somehow or other, in some way or other. And then out of those people who are interacting with, some of them will have an opening. I want to do a little bit. I know you go to temple like that. They start asking something, then we give them more like that. That's the essence. Make sense? Okay. Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Please forgive us, me and her, because we wanted to come here, but we were downstairs.
That's okay.
We had associated with the Krishna Prasad Prabhu.
Oh, wonderful.
Vrindavan and then I want to please my Prasad and come.
Wonderful.
To association, we are late here. But I wanted to ask Prabhu, I am doing 16 rounds chanting, but the problem is two things happen to qualities I am not able to maintain. And the other thing is, I try to do 16, but when I start in the morning, sometime I can do, but sometime no, it's going to next day. So I don't know how to control those. And then when we don't do the 16 round, the tensor will create in the mind at night. So I don't know what to do on this.
Yeah, thank you for a nice question, and thank you for being honest also. So we are celebrating the Damodar month. In the Damodar month, one of the lessons we learn is Mother Yashoda was trying to tie Krishna with ropes, but rope is 2 fingers too short. You probably heard that. The one finger represents and our endeavor, and second finger represents mercy from Krishna. So always we remember this one. This is very important. And actually mercy factor is more important than our endeavor. So when we remember this, any difficulty we get, first we go to Krishna. So that is the first thing as devotees we need to learn, praying to Krishna. Sometimes we hear statements like, oh, we should not ask anything to Krishna. We should only say, I want to serve you, please help me, like that. That's also true statement only. But at our level, I may not be at the stage that I only think about servicing Krishna. So first thing is praying to Krishna and our spiritual master. When we pray to Krishna and spiritual master, we pray in such a sincerity. That means every time I see Krishna, every time I think about Krishna, I pray. So when we do with such sincerity, Krishna will help. Like every time you come before Krishna, that is your one prayer. Krishna, I heard from Prabhupada that I need to chant 16 rounds regularly. I need to follow 4 principles regularly. Please help me, Krishna. Please help me so I can follow it. Please help me, Prabhupada. We come and we pay obeisances, right? We say the pranam mantra of Prabhupada. It takes only 2 seconds. Prabhupada, please help me to chant my 16 rounds every day. Done. Like that we go and that is the first aspect, prayer. And prayer is not simple, it's a very, very powerful actually. So many devotees can attest. Miracles can happen with prayers. That's the first thing. Because when you pray, Krishna, what he does is, he makes the favorable circumstances for us in ways we cannot even imagine. Our wife says, oh, you didn't chant today? Let me take care of this work for you. You do your chanting. My wife says, actually, I wanted to go for vegetables today, but I know you didn't chant, so please go ahead. Like that, so many favorable circumstances will come in our life just because we're praying to Krishna. That's the most important thing. Now, our endeavor, how devotees do endeavor is intelligent endeavor. Intelligent endeavor means they sit and contemplate. So each of us has a different way of contemplating, different way of attacking the problems. I'm giving you one way. You can see if that suits you. One way is, actually, is very preliminary way is to keep track of why did I fail? Why did I fail to chant today? Actually, Acharyas recommend, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur recommends, every day we take stock of the day. What did I do good? What do you need to improve for tomorrow? It's not a material principle. Our even Acharyas are telling. So then, like that, I keep stock of why did I miss my 16 hours today? And that's very important information. Ideally, if I write down, that's even best, ideally. But for us, it thinks, oh, why should I write down? I can remember like that, it feels. But it's better to write down, because journaling is a very powerful technique. So it can be even simple thing. I missed 16 hours today because I went to office at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's all. So now I missed my rounds today because I went to temple for doing some service. I missed my rounds today because I have to go for emergency for my son. I missed it, like that, write down. Then devotee's life always has a plan A and plan B. Plan A is everything is going according to us. That means from my perspective, I make a plan. Every day I will go to chant at so and so time. And I try to protect that time somehow. Somehow means that is where intelligence comes into place. So remember I told us write down what are we missing, why are we missing? We take one by one and see how can we avoid that in the future. Like that. So then we can attack one by one. Actually, life is so wonderful that same mistakes happen every time. So all we need to do is we make mistake and learn from it. Our life will be super wonderful. That is one thing I learned. Because same things keep on happening. Right? So we attack one by one. Like the principle is protecting the time for chanting. That's the principle. So to do that, what is stopping? Because in the evening, I'm going for a late service, for example. Or evening, I'm going to a program that is going 11 o'clock. Or evening, I'm talking to my family members in India. They want to talk for a long time. So we need to analyze all these things and put them window. Like, for example, I call my mother every week on Saturday morning. So when they know that you're going to talk at so-and-so time, they're at ease, you're at ease. And whenever somebody asks, can I talk to you, Prabhu, today? I tell them, today it's a little difficult. Can I talk to you tomorrow at 5 o'clock? They'll accept. We don't have to oblige to everybody. So like that, we protect that time by figuring out what all is stopping it, usually. But doesn't mean that by tomorrow I will be everything perfect. This is another thing to protect ourselves is, the mode of passion will say, oh, I tried to protect the time 2 days, 1 week, 1 month, but it's not happening. Okay, well, I cannot do anything. Leave it. That is mode of passion. So mode of goodness is, it's okay. I tried to protect the time for 1 month. I failed 15 days. But 15 days I succeeded. Let me keep trying. That's a very important principle. That means we need to keep trying. When we keep on trying and praying to Krishna, then we'll improve. Because actually the consistency, another important point to note, to give us solace, actually the consistency is a higher stage. It's called Nishtha. There are 9 stages of devotional service that Vishwanath Chakravarti describes. Actually, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anardha Nivritti. That means all impurities are gone. Then comes Nishtha. That means if I'm not stable sometimes, I can expect that is the case. Because I have so many impurities, we can accept, right? So then that gives a solace to get back at it. Like Chaitanya Charan Prabhu describes, what is more important is not to fall down. What is important means how quickly I get back. So we need to focus on quickly getting back portion. So just because I missed 2 days, I don't stay another 2 days like that. I quickly get back third day like that. So like that. So if you basically prayer and our endeavor, if you notice, endeavor also we're making, Krishna will give me the intelligence. Krishna will help me somehow to make it happen. If we have that, then Krishna will do magic for us. Those are few thoughts too.
Some other time what happened? Suppose I am here or some other temple. When I do my chanting like 11, 12 rounds, remaining 4, 5 rounds. So what happens? That suppose if I come here and I need help of some other devotee. Now my mind is thinking if I will not get devotee next 1 or 2 hours, I cannot finish my work. So that's why I'm delaying my chanting after that. So now that work will take another 2, 3 hours.
Okay.
So my mind will always think, let me finish that work and then I will finish.
So
that way sometimes it's also delayed.
Yeah, some practical difficulties are also there. Yeah. Then what we do is we schedule our day, schedule our week, schedule our month. That way it gives you opportunity. For example, I know today that I need to give a class here. So one devotee wanted to talk today morning. I said today evening is not possible, but tomorrow we can do. Because I want to prepare for the session before a class. So like that, we need to have a schedule. You can use Google Calendar, whatever you like, some calendar, paper calendar, whatever works. Then when you know schedule, then, so let us say you coming to service today here in the evening. You know that devotee is only there for 2 hours. You need to focus on that. So that means because I need to go to service now in the evening, I need to finish my chanting. So what can I do? First opportunity, I need to get up in the morning and chant. Let us say I cannot do that because somehow last night happened. Then is there any way I can get some slot in the daytime? That we need to think through. Krishna will give mercy. For example, office, we get a slot, lunchtime slot. We can use that lunchtime slot. I block my lunchtime slot, half an hour. Then I can do some devotion service for half an hour only. Rest of the time, I'm fully dedicated to office work. Like that. Or let us say situation like this comes. Then you take permission or you block your calendar for that 1 hour or half an hour for office time. And then do your chanting like that. Because we all do more work for office anyway. Even though there's 7.5 hours we're supposed to work, most of the time we're working 8 hours. So one day take half an hour from there to do chanting like that. And life is actually balancing act. That means one day I need to give more focus to family, one day more focus to spiritual life, one day more focus to office work, like that anyway. So that's okay. We'll arrange the wheel of life so that we can balance each of them. Correct. Yes, I have same difficulty. So basically, the way to deal with mind is the regulation. That means I need to do this at this time, nothing else like that. Then it will be okay for us. I think it will be time for the Aarti also. Let's end here. Srimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. My blessings to all of you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kupasindubhya vacha paditanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you, devotees on Zoom. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.